We boarded the Norwegian Aqua with a lot of questions. After all the controversy around the Prima and Viva, as well as our own previous experiences on Norwegian, we wondered, would this ship finally fix what wasn't working? Or was Norwegian heading even further off course? And what we found surprised us, because this wasn't just a prettier version of the same old problems. Some parts genuinely blew us away, but others still definitely need work. But by the end of the week, this ship had completely changed the way we think about Norwegian. And if you're thinking about sailing on the Aqua, you're definitely going to want to see what we discovered before you book. Hey y'all, I'm Evan with Family at Sea, where we help make every cruise unforgettable. In today's video, we're diving into the Norwegian Aqua, the newest and most talked about ship from NCL. If you're wondering whether this ship lives up to the hype, delivers something new, or is worth your hard-earned vacation dollars, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll cover what the Norwegian Aqua gets surprisingly right and where it still stumbles, the hidden gems and unexpected frustrations you won't see in the marketing, and whether this ship might be the turning point for Norwegian's future. So stick around as we unpack the cruise that changed everything we thought about Norwegian Cruise Line. If you're ready, I am. Let's go. The Norwegian Aqua is the first ship in what they're calling the Prima Plus class, which is basically a slightly larger, more refined version of the Prima and Viva. It carries just over 3,500 passengers at double occupancy with a max capacity closer to 4,200. So it's not a mega ship like the Icon or World America, but it's still packed with new spaces and design updates. It officially set sail in spring of 2025, and while a lot of headlines have focused on things like the Glow Court and the Aqua Slide Coaster, there were some more subtle design shifts we didn't expect, especially on decks 6 through 8. And that's where the Norwegian Aqua really started to change our minds. Something else to note here, we stayed in the Haven on this cruise, but this review focuses on everything outside of the Haven because 95% of you are not going to be staying in the Haven, so I don't want to create content that doesn't apply to you. I'm making this content for you guys, not for me, so I'm going to focus on what really matters, which are those areas outside the Haven. When it comes to pricing, the Norwegian Aqua definitely lands in premium territory. Most sailings for 2 people start around $2,000 to $3,000 for an interior room. If you want an ocean view room, you can typically expect to spend $2,500 to $4,000. And if you want a balcony to take in the views and the ocean breeze, these tend to fall somewhere between $3,500 and $5,000 depending on the dates and itinerary. Now, if you are thinking about the Haven, just know it's a serious splurge. You're typically looking at $10,000 on the low end for a 7-day sailing for the most basic cabin for 2 passengers. And guys, look, we're pricing all over the place and Prem was changing constantly. It's honestly hard to know if you're getting a good deal or just biting on the bait. And that's why we always book our cruises through Cruises It. They not only save us money, but they also unlock some perks and upgrades we wouldn't get on our own. And with their low price guarantee, you can rest easy knowing you're not leaving money or peace of mind on the table. If you're planning to cruise on the Aqua or honestly any ship, click the link in the description below or give them a call with the number on the screen and let them know Evan from Family at Sea sent you. You'll be glad you did. All right, enough small talk. Let's talk about what genuinely impressed us because there was a lot. First, the family-friendly activities were top tier. The Aqua Slide Coaster was a huge hit. The second that launch kicks in, your stomach's in your throat and you're gripping the handles like your life depends on it. And honestly, that's part of the fun. And the Aqua Slide Coaster wasn't the only first for us when it came to the slides. The dry slide is actually a drop slide. And we've done a lot of these in water parks, but this is the first time any of us had ever experienced a drop slide on a dry slide. And what a rush it was. And the Glow Court, it felt like something straight out of a sci-fi movie with its LED floor and interactive games. Our kids were obsessed and mom and dad might have been as well. Tea Time, which is the mini golf course, is very clever and actually fun. It's not just tossed onto the back of the ship as an afterthought as you often see. It was actually well thought out with each hole themed after a different region and culture, so your kids may actually learn something while they play. In the Game Zone arcade, huge, high energy, and filled with modern games and virtual reality experiences, and even duck pin bowling and some retro arcade games for us parents. parents. And the crew deserves a shout out as well. Whether it was the bartenders in the many lounges, the servers in the restaurants, or your room stewards or various crew members cleaning the ship, across the entire ship they were upbeat, helpful, and made the ship feel welcoming from day one. Every interaction felt like they wanted to be there, not like they were just trying to survive their contract. And when it came to food, we were seriously impressed with the vast majority of the venues on board. Le Bistro was excellent both in terms of quality and atmosphere, and it's without a doubt our favorite specialty restaurant on Norwegian ships. An indulged food hall? It's one of the smartest, most versatile concepts at sea. You sit down, order whatever you want from a tablet at your table, and within minutes, servers start bringing you dish after dish, and they're all fresh, hot, and way better than it has any right to be for something this fast and easy. It's like cruise ship dining leveled up. Design-wise, decks 6 through 8 had a really polished feel. I know that sounds weird to say about public spaces, but they felt premium, like something you'd find on Celebrity. Great lighting, cohesive flow, no weird dead spaces, it just worked. Observation Lounge also deserves a moment here. This space was everything we want in a sea day or a port day hangout. Floor to ceiling views, tons of comfortable seating, and a solid mix of snacks, pastries, light bites, and drinks. Whether you were sipping a coffee in the morning or grabbing a cocktail before dinner, it always felt relaxing and upscale without trying too hard. While it comes at an extra cost, the Vibe Beach Club blew us away. It's been expanded on the Aqua and it shows. With its own huge bar, 2 gorgeous infinity hot tubs looking out over the ocean, and plenty of plush loungers, it feels like a quiet retreat when the main pool deck is jam-packed. If quiet luxury is your thing, this is the kind of upgrade that actually feels like money well spent. Now, for all the things the Aqua got right, there were still a few letdowns we couldn't ignore. Let's start with the buffet. It was crowded every single time we walked through, and there definitely are not enough tables. The layout definitely didn't help, and the food, well, honestly, it was fine, but nothing we'd go out of our way for. Norwegian just hasn't cracked the buffet code the way some other lines have. Los Lobos, which is the Mexican restaurant on board, was another miss. This isn't the first ship we've tried it on, and sadly, it's just not getting better. We're big Mexican food people, but everything we ordered felt like a bland cruise ship interpretation of food that should have had bold flavors and personality. There's a reason they quietly pulled Los Lobos from the Encore. Even the Haven, which is supposed to be Norwegian's luxury enclave, fell a little flat, and not because of the space itself, but because the menu never changed and the service didn't feel elevated. We had some great moments, but it didn't consistently feel like the premium experience we were paying for. Another miss? There's no specialty dining venues open for lunch on sea days. So if you want to eat anything above buffet level quality midday, you're basically out of luck unless you have access to the Haven or eat at Indulge or Local. It felt like a weird step backwards compared to what all the other cruise lines do. And then there was the allergy situation. Every meal we were asked about food allergies, sometimes multiple times by different staff at the same table. It's great that they're trying to be careful, but this is one of those things that should be handled at a systems level. Cruise lines like Celebrity have figured out how to tag a profile so guests don't have to repeat themselves at every meal for the entire cruise. NCL should definitely take notes here. And as a family at sea, the Splash Academy, which is Norwegian's kids club, was perhaps the biggest disappointment on Aqua. On our sailing, there were over 800 kids on board, but the kids club can only hold a maximum of 110 kids at a time. That meant long lines and disappointed kids and parents almost every time we went there. And it also meant the kids were sprawling throughout the ship since they don't have a kids club to hang out in. We've done a lot of cruises with our kids, and this was the first time we have ever had that issue, including on other Norwegian ships. And the shows, which used to be Norwegian's calling card, have seriously taken a hit. There are no Broadway shows at all, and not even a decent variety show. And because the main theater is too small for a ship this size, each show has to be repeated several times over the course of multiple days to make sure everybody can see it who wants to, which means that on a 7-day sailing like we had, there were only 3 different production shows. And if you want to catch the band at Sid Norman's, you've got to show up at least 75 minutes early just to get a seat. That's not entertainment, that's a hostage situation. And finally, the itinerary itself had one of Norwegian's signature moves. a port stop that was basically a glorified photo op. In this case, it was Tortola. We were only there from 6 a.m. to noon, which is just enough time to get off the ship, sweat through your shirt, and get back on board before lunch. We'd love to actually explore these places, not just step foot in them. Oh, and the pools. There's only one main pool on the Lido deck and no solarium. So if you didn't claim a lounger early, you were out of luck for the entire day, unless standing shoulder to shoulder in lukewarm water is your thing. Now, with all that said, you'd think maybe this cruise left us frustrated or counting the days till disembarkation, but here's the twist. It didn't at all, because in between the letdowns were a few genuine surprises, things we weren't expecting that genuinely changed how we feel about Norwegian. So let's talk about that. We boarded the Norwegian Aqua fully expecting to walk away with the same complaints we've had in the past: crowded venues, long lines, and slow service. That was our biggest fear, especially after all the noise we'd heard about the Prima and Viva feeling overpacked and underdesigned. But here's the thing, aside from the pool deck, buffet, and a couple entertainment venues, that never really happened. The ship actually handled crowds surprisingly well. Decks 6 through 8 had space to breathe, elevators didn't feel like cage matches, and even popular spots like Indulge Food Hall and the Aqua Slide Coaster kept people flowing without chaos. And another surprise? The overall vibe of the ship felt more polished. NCL's newer ships have sometimes felt like they were chasing trends with splashy concepts that lacked substance, but the Aqua felt cohesive, thought through, and elevated. It still has energy, but it's not in-your-face chaos. The observation lounge was another standout. With floor-to-ceiling windows, soft lighting, and quieter nooks, it gave us that sense of escape you usually have to book a suite to find. It's the kind of space that reminds you why cruising can be so relaxing. We also appreciated that even with no specialty restaurants open for lunch, there were still plenty of solid options that didn't require reservations or standing in line forever. Indulge especially helped fill that gap with quick service, variety, and zero stress. For families trying to avoid a lunchtime meltdown, that kind of flexibility makes a big difference. In the bar scene, honestly, it was one of the best we've ever experienced on a mainstream cruise. From classic spots like the Whiskey Bar and Belvedere to more modern lounges like the Metropolitan and Observation Lounge, there was always a place to grab a drink that matched to your mood. While the shows didn't live up to what NCL used to be known for, we never felt bored. Between the interactive games, family activities, and restaurant variety, there was always something to do, and we weren't stuck in the same routine every day. Was it perfect? No, but it was a major step in the right direction, and enough of a shift that it honestly changed the way we see Norwegian. But what about the big question? Would we actually sail the Aqua again? Well, let's talk about it. So after everything, the highs, the lows, the surprises, did this ship win us over? Honestly, yeah, it kind of did. We didn't go into this cruise expecting to be impressed. We were cautiously optimistic at best, but the Aqua delivered enough standout moments to make us rethink where Norwegian is headed. Despite a few frustrations, it feels like a turning point, not just in design, but in the overall cruise experience they're aiming to deliver. Yes, we're still hoping they eventually bring back the incredible entertainment they used to be known for. And yes, they've got work to do with things like pool options and kids club capacity. But the ship was fun, it was polished, and it felt different in a good way. The food outside of a couple duds was solid, the crew was exceptional, and for the first time in a long time, it felt like Norwegian wasn't just throwing trendy ideas at a wall, they were actually listening to feedback and building something better. At the end of the day, the Norwegian Aqua didn't just fix some of the issues that plagued its predecessors, it gave us a glimpse of what Norwegian can be when they get it right. It's not perfect, the shows need work, the pool deck needs space, and someone really needs to break up with Los Lobos. But when you stack it all up, smart design choices, family-friendly thrills, standout food, and a crew that genuinely seemed to care, it was enough to win us back. And if they keep moving in this direction, we're here for it. Now, the good news, if Norwegian does continue down this path, they may just earn their way back into the top tier of mainstream cruising. But the bad news, you're going to want to see it for yourself. And that's why we filmed every day on board, from wild rides to hidden quiet corners, and shared it all on our second channel, Family at Sea Adventures. So if you want the full behind the scenes look at what it's actually like to sail the Aqua, you're not going to want to miss this. If you're ready, I am. Let's go.